If you're a Game Pass member looking for a new game to dig into this summer while you cool off away from the sun, we've got a bunch of incoming titles which could be just the thing. Got an appetite for old school grizzly combat? Then your first stop on June 3rd should be For Honor. Whether you're playing as an axe-swinging Viking or a towering samurai warrior, For Honor's melee combat is some of the most finely tuned you'll find on Xbox. Every fight plays out as an intricate dance composed of attacks, parries, dodges, and feints as you try to land that killer blow. And when you do, the game rewards you with a spectacularly gruesome execution that looks even better on the Xbox Series X thanks to its fluid 60 FPS display. Year 5 recently kicked off, dropping in a load more game modes, armor upgrades, and weapons for you to scrap with, so now is the perfect time to enter the fray.
On June 8th, Backbone becomes the latest brand new release to arrive directly onto the Game Pass library. Backbone is a gumshoe detective tale set in dystopian Vancouver and starring a raccoon named Howard, which kinda sounds like we just threw a bunch of random words together, but this is a very real game, complete with a pixel art aesthetic which brings a real retro beauty to its grim, grimy world. Cracking the case might take you down a rabbit hole or two, but you're sure to have quite the adventure along the way.
But if you're in the mood for even more of a challenge, A Spell in the Darkest Dungeon from June 10th might give you the masochist kicks that you've been looking for. This gorgeously grim hand-drawn RPG has you putting together a roster of heroes to descend into the vast lair beneath your mansion. Whilst there, you'll take part in turn-based battles against all kinds of nasty monsters and, hopefully, score some valuable loot. But you'll have to keep an eye on each character's stress meter as you go. Room after room of randomized horrors will be enough to leave even the sturdiest of heroes a little unhinged. And after you've watched enough of your dungeon runs end in the bloody murder of your favourite characters, you might begin to feel a little off too.
The simplest explanation of MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries would be big robot go boom. That's the essence of the game. Build up your mech suit, use it to smash apart other mechs, and complete contracts. Then use the money you've earned to make your mech bigger and go smash some more guys. In between robotic deathmatches, MechWarrior gives you plenty to think about as you manage your stable of allies, plan out your next moves, and try to keep your own suit in fighting condition without going bankrupt. But mostly, big robot go boom. And you can now control your big stompy death machine from any of your mobile devices, as MechWarrior 5 is now cloud compatible.
When they become sick of their dreary home lives, the young heroes of Wild at Heart wander off into a magical forest and find a little bit more than they bargained for. This adventure puzzle game has you guiding them through their strange new surroundings, learning more about the deep woods and the dark force which threatens it. To help put things right, you'll need the help of the local spritelings, magical little fellows who seem quite happy for you to chuck them at any obstacle or enemy who gets in the way. Wild at Heart is now available via the cloud, so you'll be able to keep an eye on your precious spritelings no matter where you go, which is good because they're cute, but not all that bright.
Now available on Xbox Game Pass for PC as well as console, Conan Exiles begins with your execution, and doesn't get much breezier from there. While the arrival of a helpful stranger allows you to avoid the initial death sentence, it's not likely to be much more than a brief reprieve in the brutal world of Conan. Simply finding a way to survive is the main priority in this multiplayer game, and you'll spend the early portion just trying to scavenge together basic materials while avoiding the attention of the especially fearsome creatures which roam the land, not to mention the other players. But with enough hard work and well-timed running away screaming, you can rise up and begin to dominate the world around you, at least until some other even more barbaric barbarian comes along.
As well as all these shiny new games, several Game Pass titles are also in for some sweet updates in the coming weeks. There are lots of ways to support LGBTQI+ organizations this Pride Month, but it's hard not to pick the ones that involves chainsaw bayonets. And if you complete Gears 5's new Pride Punch card, you'll also be rewarded with a charming pixelated hearts banner to flaunt in multiplayer.
Knockout City brought its dodge brawling action onto Game Pass on release day, and now players who have been honing their sphere slinging skills can jump into the game's first ever season. That means new maps, cosmetics, game modes, and much more. Any game which lets you befriend an axolotl is, in fact, a good game, and that admittedly short list now includes Minecraft, thanks to the Caves and Cliffs Update Part 1. With the first part arriving on June 8th, it brings in a whole bunch of new places for you to explore and creatures to encounter.
But if you prefer your blocks organised in a more dungeon-like manner, Minecraft's sister series is also getting a shiny new update on June 8th, which lets you take on the meddlesome raid captains to earn all sorts of valuable rewards. Plus, they're throwing an anniversary event on the same day with loads of birthday-themed swag on offer. Score! In the less blocky, fantastical realm of Elder Scrolls Online, you can take a trip to the ancient land of Blackwood to see what's going on over there, which may involve Daedric forces and some other dodgy business, so bring something pointy.
Human Fall Flat brought a whole new dimension to puzzle platforming by having you play as a doughy little fella who moves with the grace and agility of a disoriented couch cushion. And now that it's been optimised for the Xbox Series X and S, their pratfalling antics look better than ever, especially in the new forest level. Thanks to the great Expedition updates, Black Desert players can now take command of a ship and head out onto the sea, or even delve beneath the waves to check out the ruins of Secrea. You'll find plenty to plunder down there, but be warned, you are not alone.
And that's not all. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers can also chow down on a tasty selection of perks this month. Dirt 5's Power Your Memes pack includes 4 liveries plus the Series X fridge as a playgrounds item, which is pretty cool. Things get even wilder in Super Animal Royale with the Founders Edition DLC, which throws another 3 animal breeds and 10 cosmetics into the mix. And you can now mix up 2 of EA's hit titles by grabbing the Knockout City weapon charm to use in Apex Legends. Because who doesn't love a good crossover?
Of course, making room for all this newness means that a few titles will have to bid farewell to the Game Pass library on June 15th. There's still time to check them out before they're gone though, and you can always use your membership discount to get 20% off if you want to buy them for keeps afterwards. If you're anxiously awaiting the console release of Microsoft Flight Simulator, then Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown could be the perfect thing to tide you over. It favours an action-packed, arcadey approach over meticulous realism, ideal if you want to jump in the cockpit without having to learn what all the buttons do, because there is a lot of them.
Few games are as dripping in atmosphere as the Noir-inspired Night Call, where you play as a taxi driver on the trail of a killer. Pay close attention to what your customers say while you're driving, they might just hold the key to cracking this case. West of Dead has plenty going for it. Tight cover-based shooting mechanics, a killer art style, and Ron Perlman voicing a skeletal cowboy. It's all good stuff. It makes for a slick, roguelike shooter that melds classic Western themes with its own wild mythology.
A wizard may arrive precisely when he means to, but this one will be out of here soon, so download it while you can. Wizard of Legend is a fantastical roguelike where you'll need all your spell casting know-how to make it through these dangerous dungeons. Finally, we have Observation, one of my favourite games of 2019 by the way, an adventure game where you play as the AI of a space station and do your best to look after its hapless human crew. Just think of yourself as Hal from 2001 A Space Odyssey, only hopefully a lot less murdery.
Between the night-on-night violence of For Honor and the gentle whimsy of Wild at Heart, this latest Game Pass drop has something for just about any vibe. But there's plenty more coming down the pipeline, so be sure to subscribe and ring that bell for all the latest Xbox updates. Bye!